Hey Virgos, welcome and welcome back to the Honey Sea Star Tarot, and welcome to the week of June 29th through July 5th. Happy July, welcome to it. I'm just saying it is a month full of great awakenings, and this week running the astrology and meditating, the biggest thing that I got out of it is you're seeing through all the BS. Before we get started though, I just want to say thank you guys to each and every one of you for all the ways that you support this channel, lift this channel up, truly lift each other up, lift me up. I feel so blessed to have each and every one of you here, and I love you back. So, to get us started right away as we walk into this week with June 29th, the moon is moving to Virgo. Oh, okay, I won't argue. The moon is moving to Virgo, and it happens to be sextile with Jupiter, which is still in Cancer. This is also conjunct with Mars in Virgo. Oh my goodness, that flew out. And then we also have the moon being sextile with the sun. And so walking into this week with a powerful combination of energies, it's bringing together order and practicality with opportunities for growth, assertion, and emotional understanding. And so this is a time we're utilizing this time, this energy to reevaluate, your long-term plans and take positive steps towards your aspirations, as well as nurturing your inner world. Because, right, as above, so below, as within, so is your external world around you that you manifest. And so by reevaluating your long-term goals, taking positive steps towards your true aspirations, as well as nurturing that inner world, it allows you to really have this chance to achieve balance, foster practical growth, emotional well-being, and take action with assertiveness in pursuing your long-term goals. This is the time to truly trust your instincts and trust your inner compass. Like I said, this is the week where you're kind of seeing through all the BS, all behind the veil. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below. I just want to lay all these out because the boatload just flew out right off the bat. Oh my gosh, look at this. Ooh, and then down below, what also fell? Okay. Yep, seeing through the BS. I'm just saying. So right away with the tarot, as we're walking into this week, Spirit is saying, listen to your conscience. There's confessions coming in. Hold people accountable. You're catching people in the act, but also too, you're standing in your honesty, in your integrity, and you're forcing others as you manifest that in your inner world. You're manifesting that with the people that surround you in the world around you. And with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, this is all about expectations without expectations of reward. So I kind of put that out as entitlement. But it's without labor, That's funny that I wasn't even reading this, but basically expectations of entitlement. So there's something around you, people that you're working with that have poor work ethic, that want to take shortcuts, that feel entitled to your labor. And this is the time to really achieve balance, step outside, assert yourself with your action in pursuing your goals, assert yourself with your emotional well-being, but foster balance in seeing through potentially what is surrounding you at this time. And that also includes your inner compass as well, with doing the inner work. Remember, Mercury is in Leo right now. So not only are your ideas gold, we're encouraged to share them with the world, but not everybody has the same intents as you do. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below, because this is all to prepare us as we walk into July. So July 1st, before the moon moves into Libra, the moon is going, when it's still in Virgo, I should say, is going to be trine with Venus and Uranus, which are still in Taurus. And so this creates a flow of harmony in earth energy and positivity when it comes to your emotional and mental, as well as physical health and well-being. And in this harmony, it also helps us with finding the right relationships, the right partnerships, by utilizing our intuition and diving into self-discovery. This is where innovation comes in, opportunities as well as breakthroughs that, I'll just forewarn you, especially with Uranus's energy, they're going to come into fruition or come through in a lot of ways very unexpectedly. but they prove to be very beneficial in work, daily life, and your emotional landscape. This is a great opportunity to integrate new energies and perspectives in what you're working on. Embrace this energy and embrace the change that comes along with Uranus's energy in particular, because it opens the door for some major upgrades in elevating to your higher timeline, which truly leads to stability and happiness. This is where, honestly, like I say, don't be surprised that if you experience a delay of news, it brings inspiration. Spirit is basically telling you now is the time to prep. Most importantly, though, now is the time to pause. Hold that patience. Don't get frustrated, especially as we walk into the Scorpio moon towards the end of the week, because this is the week where you're seeing through all the BS. So on the 1st as well, this is all basically bringing us into harmony and preparing us, right, with that center so that we can hold that center as the moon moves into Libra. Now, the Libran moon is going to be trine with Pluto in Aquarius. It's also going to be in opposition with Saturn and Neptune, which are still in Aries. And so this is a time basically where it's all about personal awareness. You'll be feeling personal power by holding that center, right? Navigating your relationships with your intuition and your discernment, seeing who's really for you and who's got a little bit of a veil or wants to pull a magic rug out from underneath you in a lot of ways. But this is where you're navigating, you're developing a deeper understanding, and through that, it's offering you really a transformation of healing and seeing through those who wish to gaslight, manipulate, exploit, and control you. This is the time where truly when the moon moves into Libra, you're not buying any tickets to the show of false people, false idols. You're seeing through illusions. And most importantly, you're standing on truth. You're standing in your truth. And thus, by doing that, you're standing in your sovereignty. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below. Share your thoughts, because this is where the true good news comes in. Like I say, this was a needed pause. And in a lot of ways, what's happening is basically redirection is always God's way of protecting. And if that resonates, by all means, like, share, subscribe, because this is where the true good news comes in. It offers you excitement, but it also offers you freedom in your creative flow through exploring vaster, grander areas, new opportunities, new doors that have come through, new breakthroughs that have come through unexpected change, unexpected opportunities. And so it seems like a hiccup really is a redirection, because what they were selling wasn't necessarily in your best interest, and this is the time where you're not buying either. And I will say as well, it's all coming up to a half moon in Libra on the 2nd. Now, the half moon in Libra is also going to be sextile with Mercury in Leo, and I'll do a separate read on the half moon, because half moons are very much about standing in the middle. It's about really celebrating and basically reflecting, seeing and appreciating the ebb and the flow of the cycle, right? The cycle of life. And so standing in this energy when we walk into this half moon, especially with it being sextile with Mercury in Leo. And remember, Mercury in Leo is in our 12th house. Check that video out if you haven't seen it. But the half moon in Leo really stands for is standing in, I should say, our 2nd house of personal value, financial security, wealth. And half moons, like I say, are all about transition, about change, and about balance. It reminds us of the midpoint of the ebb and the flow of life. And so for Virgos, particularly with this being in our 2nd house, it encourages us to look at our finances and our belongings and reassess what truly matters to us on a deeper level, and how we entangle ourselves with our sense of self-worth when it comes to our finances and our belongings. It urges us to adjust our attitude, adjust our mindset, and adjust our budget to restore a financial harmony that brings security, and true freedom, because you have the power, right? You're in control. And so this is the time where it also allows ourselves an opportunity for some well-deserved luxury and self-endurance. I said, I meant indulgence, but endurance might be coming in and resonating for you too. So take it as you leave it, or take it as it resonates, I should say too. But this is where you're finding ways to really celebrate your freedom, your sovereignty, and also to find ways to think smarter, not harder, and alternatives, other avenues that you haven't yet explored when it comes to increasing your earnings. And when this is coupled with Mercury's sextile, it creates a supportive and rewarding time. It brings gains through networking, showcasing your talents, opening new ways of earning money, and most importantly, managing money. And so why I'm very excited to do a separate read on this is that this half moon, take advantage of this energy when you can, or if you can, because this is a great time for money manifestation meditation. So this is where, what came to mind for me when I was running the astrology for this half moon is that a lot of times, at least culturally in the United States, a lot of us have a really bad relationship or a negative connotance when it comes to our relationship with money. There's always this saying that goes through of you eat the rich, right? And I will say too, legitimately so, when you look at those that are billionaires that have a lot of eccentricity about themselves. And actually, too, I'll just go into a personal story. So I had the opportunity to really sit down and talk with, when I worked for a cooperative, with the upper management team. And I just remember the change in their mentality and their perspectives. So when we were $1 million cooperative, it was all about looking at things as a whole, looking at how we can make the best paid dishwasher and the lowest paid CEO for the right reasons to equal out that field, right? To also, it's kind of to find those win-win solutions where everybody prospers, not based on their identity or the role that they play for the cooperative, but by their contribution, because each part matters. And if that resonates, put a heart in the comments below. But what happened is when we went from millionaire to billionaire status, the management started treating and looking at that money as if it was theirs. And that's where we went wrong. The farmers also, too, wanted more. And they started to surpass the ability to actually achieve that promise of prosperity with what they were truly putting into the cooperative as a whole when it comes to the supply. And that also ultimately ended up really creating quite an issue where we ended up, down the road, I'll tell you, it was a very downhill spiral, but monetarily speaking, we ended up having to borrow from banks just to pay our own dividends, to pay our own owners, which were the farmers. Now, on a higher note, going back to the management level, so there was a conversation that I will always really appreciate. So it was with our original CFO. He was also our first astrologer. And when he first went into these talks, because basically there was a big push on how do we keep growing? How do we keep growing? He came, after one of these meetings, which was an all-day meeting, he was exhausted. He was telling me oh my goodness, all these advisors came in and the first and only thing that they looked at was, in every single spiel, every single presentation was profitability. That was the only focus. That was the bottom line. That was the only measure of success. And he just kind of came home laughing when he came and walked into the door. Once we moved from millionaire to billionaire status, then they started changing, where they not only looked at that money that was the cooperatives, everyone's, and treated it as their own, reflected it as their own title, their own entitlement. But they started actually looking at things in a different way, where it was like they were above not only the law, but they made the law. And that's the difference with billionaires versus millionaires, is that once you get to that millionaire status, it's like you are above the law. Your money holds status, so people look the other way, and you can break whatever rule you want. When you come to that billionaire status, that's when you truly make the laws. And that's how we're culturally accepted to it, and or preconditioned to it. And unfortunately, what it's manifested as a whole for society is that we have this really negative connotation with money. Money is energy when you break it down. Money is abundance. And so money manifestation during this time, when used appropriately, when used in a positive reflection and a positive, healing, loving relationship, can be quite beautiful, because you can utilize that money in so many positive ways, not just with entitlement. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below, because that's what I'm seeing in the cards here, is that this is the time to really focus on your money manifestations, your relationship, healing that relationship with money, and focusing on your money manifestation meditations in the way that it's truly meant to be. Money is just an energy that basically explores the definition of your abundance. And that sits with the Queen of Cups. This is where you're an emotionally supportive figure. You're utilizing your psychic abilities, your intuition, your creativity, but you're utilizing that abundance with empathy, with emotional strength, and seeing what you can do with it when it comes to manifesting love, not manifesting entitlement. And again, right away, you're flipping the coins. Like I say, you're seeing through all the BS this week, because this is where your 10 of Cups is coming in. This is where true fulfillment, joy, family, love, luck, health, stability, success is really where you're choosing your path of light, not going and falling for the traps that are set for you that lead you down the shadow path. And like I say, if that resonates, by all means, let me know in the comments below, because on July 4th, we also have the moon moving into Scorpio. Now, the Scorpio moon will be trine with Jupiter, which is in Cancer. It's also going to be square with Mercury in Leo and Pluto in Aquarius. Now, to top that off, Neptune is going into retrograde, and Venus is moving into Gemini. So overall, this is a day to balance logic with emotion. This is where the Two of Cups is coming into play. You are finding balance. You're finding harmony in your relationships with the self, with the divine, with the relationships around you and your partnerships. Also, to expect a little romance, especially with Venus in the air, because Venus is, especially moving to Gemini, it's about the balance of the heart and the mind and really coming into that center. But this is where it offers peace. This is where it offers equitability. This is also, like I say, where it offers the balance of logic and emotion. And it really offers us, especially with that Scorpionic moon, to dive deeper into our emotions, transform. And through that transformation, by transforming with that deep dive, we can emerge with renewed personal power by releasing outdated beliefs. And the trine with Jupiter blesses us with a smooth flow in this release, particularly as it makes it easier for us to trust our gut feelings. This is the time also, too, where it makes it easier to trust our gut decisions, follow our intuition without question. Know that we're making the right moves that truly lead to our 10 of Cups, our abundance, And it's really in time when coupled with Neptune's retrograde. And it's the perfect time because it leads to a greater emotional security that in a lot of ways leads us towards the start of something new. So don't be surprised if you thought you were on a path and this week it kind of like the veil gets lifted from your eyes and you almost not necessarily change direction, but you look at the hidden truths and you confront the reality of them, what was really trying to be sold to you. Because like I say, this is the time where you're not buying any tickets to the show of false people, false idols, false illusions. You're standing in your sovereignty. Anyone who wishes to gaslight, manipulate, exploit, or control you, this is the time where you're seeing through this BS. And so with Neptune's retrograde, it gives us this period to confront reality and, more importantly, reveal any illusions or hidden truths so that we can release misunderstandings, release unrealistic fantasies that don't serve us, release the expectation of perfectionisms or the temptation towards perfectionism, and instead make room for the prosperity that truly serves you and that's truly meant for you, particularly when it comes into the areas of home, family, and security. This is your start of something new. There's an unexpected opportunity that comes in this week through these revealings. And remember, Mercury is in not only Leo, but it's in our 12th house. This is psychic abilities. This is hidden talents that were unrealized. And it's also coupling those with your intuition and your creative flow. It opens doors where you're tapping into your talents. And this is what's bringing on this change and inspiration and good news. And I'm just saying, if that resonates, by all means, like, share, subscribe, put a heart in the comments below, share your thoughts as to what you encounter this week. Because this is the time, like I say, where Neptune retrograde, will actually start in July, but it'll be with us through December. And it shifts from Aries to Pisces in October. So we'll get this energy quite a bit or get to work with this for quite some time. And I'll do a separate read on it. But basically, with Neptune, that's all about dreams, right? And Pisces is Neptune rules Pisces. When it's in Aries, it's dreams and action, and it's in our 8th house, which is shared resources, debts, investments. And so once it moves to Pisces in October, this is where it's going to be standing in our 7th house, partnerships, relationships. And like I say, I'll do a deeper dive into this because it's quite prolific, where it really helps us with reassessing and seeing through the veil, particularly with Mercury's help. That's where those messages will be coming in. And so when it moves in, like I say, into Pisces, this is a time where it really revolutionizes things. So be prepared from October to December. There's going to be quite a bit of change in a good way with the partners of your dreams that you're calling in. Oh, wow, that's wonderful. Okay. And then 2, Venus is in Gemini for pretty much all of July. And I'll do a July reading here. Stay tuned for that as well. But this is where Venus is in our 10th house of career, reputation. Amazing. I'm just saying. But this is where, with it being in your 10th house and Venus being all about love, creativity, the appreciation of finer things in life, right? Your just deserves when it comes to art, creativity. It very much brings to mind like the Renaissance period, where there was such an appreciation for the skills that are priceless, right? That are so refined that people, it brings to mind like music in particular, dance, paintings, like architecture, all these types of things that we tend to have simplified over the years in a lot of ways. This is where Venus in Gemini really marries that energy in our 10th house, and it brings purpose-driven energy to our relationships, especially when it comes to achieving our goals. There's opportunities for career growth during this time. There's also opportunities for public recognition during this time as well. So be prepared. Like I say, I'm very excited to do July's overall reading. Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Because Gemini, why do I keep saying Gemini when I mean July? July. I'll put out a reading with some key dates to pay attention to. I will say, spoiler alert, towards the middle to end of July is going to be a much better alignment when it comes to looking at contracts, investments, things like that. So just stay tuned for that. Keep your eyes open. But when Venus is in Gemini, which is pretty much all of July, like I say, this is where it's bringing in purpose-driven energy to your relationships and relationships towards achieving shared goals that offer opportunities of career growth. I don't know why I can't talk all of a sudden, and public recognition, excuse me. But this is also where people of high positions are coming in to help. Relationships are coming in to help. And so like I say, in the beginning of the week, it's redirection to bring you into a better alignment. And with the Ace of Pentacles, this is double confirmation, new beginnings, mental clarity, prosperity, financial gain, good choices, finding the truth that leads to success with focus, career opportunities, change, money. I'm absolutely getting goosebumps, I'm just saying. But as we close out this week, this is where it's at. So the sun, and we're not done yet, I will say that as well. The veil is continuing to be seen through, I should say. You're seeing through that BS and you're not buying the tickets. So the sun is in Cancer and it's going to be trine with that Scorpio moon. The moon is also going to be sextile with Mars in Virgo. And so it's a beautiful opportunity to blend your emotional depth with your practical action with that Ace of Swords. This is the time to channel this energy to pursue your goals with courage, refine your habits, and make meaningful connections because it's centered on refining your approach. Be aware that Scorpio's way of bringing intense emotions can also lead to holding grudges by the mishaps, misunderstandings, connections that weren't in your best interest in the beginning of the week. So It also can lead to a tendency of being overly critical of yourself and others. And so this is the time to truly be mindful of that Scorpio intensity and instead remain open. Walk again by seeing through the BS with an open heart, but also with maintaining boundaries by standing in your personal power. This is the time where, when you're walking forward with an open heart, trusting your gut, trusting your inner compass, not buying the tickets that are wanting to control you and exploit you, gaslight you, manipulate you, but instead stand in your empowerment with gratitude, keeping your vibration high and raising it when it starts to falter towards those south node aspects, right? This is where you're able to move forward in your goals, make the right steps in your lifestyle, make the right steps towards your lifestyle improvements that are needed, that you're craving, that you're really being pulled towards during this time, and that leads you to success. This is the time to stay on your path of light. Avoid the traps that are set purposefully in some ways, that are painted for you in a lot more ways, that leads you down a shadow path. And like I say, if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below. Share your thoughts in the comments below, because with Spirit here and our ancestors talking, with the Loon, this is all about listening to your intuition. Listen to the song of your soul. Trust your intuition, as you have a way of knowing. This is the time to trust it. Emerge from the busy life and seek more solitude when necessary, and especially during your money manifestation meditation. As we get into July, spoiler alert, but soul, opening your third eye and really focusing on that meditation that leads you towards soul regression, trusting your intuition, will unlock a lot of hidden knowledge from past lives. And I'm not just talking about like up to 13 generations, but even farther back. This is the time to recognize that you are unique, but mostly to know that you are loved. And same thing goes with on this channel. Being a part of the Honey Sea Star family, you are supported and you are loved. I'm just saying. And I will say too, so before we go, oh, you know what was so crazy? I didn't even go into this deck. Well, let's go in intuitively. I'm just curious as a cat. I thought I grabbed 2 different decks, but I was pulled only to the Witch's Tarot. So, Spirit, what additional messages do you have for us, especially as we see through the BS? Thank you. So with your soul regression meditation, like I was saying, this is the time where to do that. And I'll go into it a little deeper too with July. But it's really about opening your third eye. It's about aligning your chakras, clearing out your chakras, unblocking your chakras, and really taking in the downloads. Now, I know a lot of talk on YouTube in particular that I've seen is really going into trusting AI with a lot of this, which, don't get me wrong, AI, absolutely helpful because it doesn't have the attachments to the body in a lot of ways. But I do want to assure you, the soul knows the way, and it's more, we are the most prolific entanglement of soul, spirit, and body. And it's amazing what you can get from your downloads that are more specific to you, that uncovers so much more. And so very much focus on your meditations this week, particularly with the key of E. That'll be a music medicine for you, particularly when it comes to money manifestation and soul regression in July. But right away with the extra messages that we've got here, wow, this is just crazy awesome. Okay, so like I say, with the 5 of Cups coming out right away, Scorpionic energy, this, you're seeing through the shadows, you're seeing through the BS, the tricks and traps that are set to lead you down a shadow path, but more importantly, that are meant to block your creativity. And instead, you're learning from the past lives, past and present. And more importantly, you're learning to utilize those tools to walk into a new cycle that brings change after instability. It's going to require some adjustments, like I say, with mind, with your mentality, with your emotions, with your perceptions, and more importantly, adaptability when it comes to embracing the uncertainty, especially with Uranus's energy on the 1st. But this is where redirection is protection. You may be feeling despair. There may be things that look like a loss, basically. This is where Spirit is reminding you to really cherish the present and cherish that there is a reasoning for everything. And especially when it comes to the 5, your perspective change is going to be opening up a new door, particularly when it looks at that Mars energy. And remember, Mars is in Virgo. That's our go-getter planet, really taking practical steps, practical action. And with the 9 of Cups, this is utilizing Jupiter's energy, particularly when we're looking at embracing it with the dream state of Pisces' energy. Pisces? There we go. Either way, this is where Spirit really wants you to know and assure you. Material success is meant to be yours. Wishes do come true. Abundance is your birthright. This is where happiness, enjoyment are coming to light, but it's due to uncovering superficial desires and inner fantasies, readjusting, confronting those realities when Neptune goes into retrograde, especially when it comes to seeing through and revealing any illusions, any hidden truths, and more importantly, releasing perfectionism, releasing misunderstandings, right? Releasing what truly is an unrealistic fantasy so that you can usher in, make room for the true prosperity that's meant for you, that's truly meant to serve you, particularly with home, family, and security. This is also about that throat chakra, right? This is about learning to listen as well as be heard. This is also too where writing and journaling will really help you with looking at things from an outside perspective. So getting it all down right off the bat, especially with your emotions, stepping away from it, and then reflecting on what you wrote to truly uncover through the veils, right? To see through the gaslighting, the manipulation, the exploitation, and avoid the control and keep your sovereignty. And this is also where, too, people are seeing you stand in your place of power. You're being recognized during this time as well. This is also where you're doing meaningful work and people are seeing that. There's monetary rewards that are meant for you because of the work and the gifts that you share. This is also, too, coming together with teamwork and collaboration, particularly when Venus moves into Gemini in July. It's going to bring on a flow of creativity. Again, this also speaks to Mars's energy, but also grounds us with that Capricorn energy. And it has a lot to do with your solar plexus, about knowing who you are, why you're here, what you're meant to do in this life, the gifts that you're meant to share in this life. But also to know that you truly are inspiration in action. This is about engaging in all areas of your life and embracing the rebellious nature that is within you when it comes to anything that you've been preconditioned or pushed into doing that you don't necessarily feel comfortable with. This is the time to trust your gut and know you're making the right decisions this week. See through the BS. This is also where you're bringing in, by seeing through the veil, synthesis, dynamic balance, synergy in your life, growth that's meant for you, and also too, expressing, finding that voice and speaking in your personal power, like I say, towards lifestyle improvements that truly lead you towards success, lead you towards your path of light so that you can avoid a shadow path. That's where you're truly meant to manifest. So the Magician really speaks to not only that spiritual connection that we have, especially with Mercury and Leo in our 12th house, but the Magician utilizes all the resources, taps into the unlimited potential, as well as taps into the infinite possibilities of the resources at hand, as well as taps into that crown. That's where you're utilizing the unity, the beginnings, when it comes to discipline, the awakening of your consciousness in a lot of ways as well, but a new cycle with the one. And on the other side of this too, this is where you're manifesting plans, ideas with practical action and putting them into practice. And again, like I say, this speaks to that Mercury and Leo energy. This is where you're tapping in with the divine and really embracing your spiritual path, letting your intuition lead you, especially by uncovering those hidden potentials, those hidden talents when you're in the creative flow, because it'll lead towards a deserved luxury, but also too new ways of earnings that weren't necessarily enlightened to you before this. This is a time where you're walking into self-mastery, like I say, but you're also looking at communicating, sharing those, taking initiative with the world, but you're stepping into a place of mastery when it comes to truly trusting your intuition, trusting the divine, trusting your true path and your soul's calling. I have goosebumps right now. And then also too, so along with the chord of E, when you do your music medicine, when you do your improvs and really tap into your meditations this week, also embrace the color of yellow. That'll really energize you with the vitality of the sun. That's the creator of life, right? And so that'll really help as well by embracing that energy, particularly if you feel drained when it comes to any type of redirection or unexpected breakthroughs that you weren't planning on. And as a side note too, I don't know if anyone else is feeling this or has been feeling this, as of late, but we've had a lot of solar flares and they just occurred this weekend. Where it can manifest in two different ways. It can either manifest and fill you full of energy, or what I'm with the planetary alignments that also happened, that we're all in line for this like huge solar flare that basically awakened this wonderful pulse in the Earth's energy and resonance. It can lead to either an exuberance of energy or to feeling drained. And it's all an adjustment and a reaction to that solar flare. With Virgos, particularly with Mercury and Leo in our 12th house, and let me know in the comments below what you felt. But for me, I felt very much drained, but in a way where I wanted to go within, to really recharge and to tap into my unconscious. This is the week where it's really helping you if you felt that, because it's leading you to see through the BS and, more importantly, stay focused on the lifestyle, the success, the abundance that's meant for you, but the path of light that truly is aligning you at this time so that you can avoid any type of paths that are set, any traps that are set to lead you down a shadow path. And so I truly hope that this reading helps. I am sending you guys so much love and light. Take care, and I will see you in the next reading.